I'm back with Rosalyn Masterson, also known as Masterson, in her book, the author of The Storm is Over, an autobiography based on her struggles from a young girl to adulthood. Today, we will be discussing Chapter 2, Big Daddy. Rosalyn, welcome back. Thanks for being here.
Well, Sheila, thanks for having me.
All right, we're going to start our questions. Rosalind, why do you mention at the beginning of the book that Big Daddy was the only person in your life who ever really cared about you as a human being?
I mention that because it's my truth. Because he was my savior. He did care about me. He protected me. When my grandma or my mother was coming to whoop me or coming after me, I would stand behind him, and it's just like he say, "No, you're not." And so, yes, he was my protector. He protected me.
Okay. And Big Daddy is your grandfather, your father's, no, excuse me, your mother's father.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
Describe Big Daddy to us.
Well, if you've seen my book, it's the picture. He's a big old burly African American man, had a bald head, just tall, and then it just seemed like, I don't know if people ever seen Jack and the Beanstalk. Because, as a little girl, my big daddy, that's how big he was with me. Because he's this big old burly black man with this big old Santa Claus smile on his face. But he wore coveralls, and he rode, we used to call them Brogan boots, them big old work boots. But then he also would have on like a plaid shirt, a button-down plaid shirt. But it was my big daddy, and he would have a small can of dip in one of his pockets. He wasn't a pipe smoker, but he would dip snuff. So that's how. And all this big old, like Santa Claus, big old smile. Always smiling. And I don't know unless he forgot his teeth. I don't remember him having no teeth. He might have had one or two, but I might be wrong about that. But big old, just big old, beautiful, beautiful man.
So, Big Daddy did not suffer from addiction or alcoholism. Some of his children did. Intuitively, why do you think he tackled this with patience, tolerance, and acceptance instead of anger or berating?
Because I believe it was a social norm, a societal norm. My grandmother being in church and black, these children of his was adult at this time. And so I guess that's saying, live and let live. So I believe that was part of it. Maybe him recognizing that his hands were tied, but also not in denial about it, about the drinking, because it was acceptable.
At the age of 4 years old, your father had just been placed in prison, and your mother was young and did not have the means to support her two small children, Andre, your older brother, and you. Your grandmother was encouraged by other members in your family to give you and your brother over to the state. How did Big Daddy prevent this from happening?
Because he said no to Clara May. It says no way, all of this come about because my father was a criminal, and my mother and my dad, they were married, but also he was a young man, and he did what he did. And it was just like, maybe it was more shaming of the family to give us over to an orphanage. And Big Daddy said, no, we'll just keep it here in the family. Because African Americans, for the best of my knowledge, they did not do that, They did not do that. And so none of the other children had to go. And I guess mom being the youngest and her having these young children, and living, I would believe that we were under their roof. They said no.
Big Daddy told you he'd never leave you. As an innocent child, you believed him. Tell us how he left you on that fateful day.
I don't even know how to put words to this, but I just know that, and it was on a Monday. You know, it was a Monday morning. How I know it was a Monday morning is because we were all going to school. Matter of fact, we did go to school. And it's coming home, just coming home, he was not there. But also it was the word, you know how they don't tell kids what's going on. The adults don't tell kids what's going on. But what had happened, something was really strange and odd about that day. Strange and odd because he went to the grocery store and he never came back. And it was told that he had a heart attack on the corner. We on one end of the block and he's at the other end. The stores were halfway around the corner and he had that heart attack coming back from the store.
And you were the age of 8 at this time?
Yes.
And living permanently at Race Street at the time.
Sheila, as far as my recognition, Ray Street has always been the address, Ray Street has always been, but yes, me and Anthony, me and Andre, yeah, we were there, me and Andre. Because the others weren't born then, they were babies, small if they were,
Okay. Big Daddy passed on to you kindness, gentleness, compassion, forgiveness, and love. He taught you true love. He believed in you. What do you think your life would have looked like if he did not pass these spiritual principles on to you?
Wow, if I didn't have spiritual principles and really working hard at learning to live by these principles, it would be an empty shell. I would be empty. I'd just be lost and turned out. I wouldn't have a life. I would not have a life. But it was just something about my grandfather. It was something about that guy, about the love and about the way he shielded me and about the way that it's just like just this edge of protection all around me. And so, yes, I believe that I did pick up those traits because, people is just so mean. And in that house, it was just mean people. And as I got older, I didn't want to be mean, which I'm not a mean person. And so, you're either one way or the other, and I choose to be the other. I choose to be like my grandfather, kind, gentle, a gentle giant, compassionate, loving, caring, jolly, just love, and caring, just loving people.
Thank you so much, Rosalyn. So, again, I encourage everybody to read The Storm is Over by Rosalyn Masterson, and you will get to know a lot more about Big Daddy. This was just a brief summary of the chapter, but there's a lot more to learn inside that chapter that leads us to knowing more about you and why the storm is over now.
Wow.
So thank you, Rosalyn. We'll see you next time.
Well, thank you, Sheila. Thanks for having me.